We are back live from the Daytona International Speedway as we are going to be bringing you live coverage of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Qualifying as we will set the grid for tonight's season premiere NEXTEra Energy Resources 250 from Daytona. We have 41 trucks entered, racing for 36 spots on the starting grid, and we will find out which 6 going-homers, or which 5 going-homers, will not make the show for tonight's season opener from Daytona. We will have single truck qualifying coming at you in a very quick moment here from Daytona. First truck will be leaving pit road in about a minute or so. We will have single truck qualifying. Each driver will be able to go out onto the track for 2 laps, and the fastest lap of those 2 laps will be the official time lap for that driver. We had 25 drivers locked into the field based on 2016 owner points, meaning that 16 drivers have to qualify on time in order to race tonight. In this video is part 1 of 2. We will have 2 part videos for Truck and XFINITY Qualifying. In part 1 of Truck Qualifying will be the going-homers. The first 16 drivers on the qualifying order are going-homers, and they'll be going out to qualify via practice speeds. The slowest truck in practice of the going-homers was Mike Harmon. He'll go out first. The fastest of the going-homers was Austin Wayne Self. He'll go out 16th. That is how it's going to be for qualifying for both series. We'll get into it a little bit more as we go along this afternoon, but we're going to be taking a quick break, and when we come back to Daytona, we'll have the first truck on track right here from the Daytona International Speedway. Welcome back here to NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Qualifying as the first truck has already made his way onto the track, the 74 of Mike Harmon. The first driver to go out to qualify here from Daytona. Remember, this is single truck qualifying, and it is going to be in reverse order of practice speeds. Now, this video, like we mentioned earlier, is all about the going-homers. So Mike Harmon is the first of 16 going-homers to qualify here from Daytona. Now, Harmon has to beat 5 drivers in order to qualify for tonight's event. He was 41st in practice and had a 51.672. That is about 3 seconds slower from what he ran in practice this morning. Mike Harmon, has already been an eventful day for Mike Harmon. Was slowest in truck practice, was unable to make an attempt in practice in his Xfinity car due to inspection issues. So it's not been a good morning for the driver out of the number 74 Mike Harmon Racing Chevrolet. RaceDaySponsor.com on board, but can lap number 2 be any better here for Mike Harmon? Comes across the line for lap number 2. Is quicker, but not a lot. A 51.634. That is way slower from what he ran in practice earlier this morning. Mike Harmon, a 51.634. As Mike Harmon takes his truck to the garage as he finishes up his qualifying run, next to him on track will be the number 40 of Todd Peck in the Arthritis Foundation Chevrolet out of Todd Peck Racing, a family-owned team for Todd Peck, and he just put up his first lap. That is a 51.752. That is second as of right now, but that is a faster first lap than what Mike Harmon ran just about a minute ago. Harmon, his lap was a 51.634. So from what Todd Peck ran on his first lap, it may be enough to knock Harmon down to second. Now remember, Todd Peck has to beat 5 trucks to make the show. The fastest truck in practice was the 21 of Johnny Sauter. He'll be going out last, the very tail end of this long line of 41 trucks trying to make the season opener for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Todd Peck comes across the line a 51.700. That is also way slower from what he ran in practice this morning. That is only second for the 40 of Todd Peck. The third driver to go out to qualify here from Daytona, the number 6 of Norm Benning in the Norm Benning Racing Chevrolet. Norm Benning must be a 51.634 to top Mike Harmon, who is right now on the pole position for tonight's event. But right now it is all about making the show. That is why NASCAR put the go-homers at the front of the qualifying line. qualifying order, and the fast trucks are already locked into the race at the very end. That way there's really no advantage of temperature. Is right now still cloudy, very cloudy this morning during practice, and at lap number 1, Norm Benning does go to the top of the board at a 51.295, but you can tell that these speeds are very slower from what they were in practice this morning. It is a little bit more warmer here at Daytona. 51.295, that is now the fastest lap here during qualifying. Norm Benning, Mike Harmon, and now Todd Peck will be bumped down to third as Benning comes back to the line to complete lap number 2. And he'll go a little bit quicker, a 51.248 for Norm Benning. Will that be enough to get him in the show? We'll find out after just a couple of more trucks. We're taking a look at the next driver to go out to qualify for tonight's event, the number 92, Brian Keselowski, the older brother of two-time Cup champion Brad Keselowski. Now, this is a driver and team that we would normally expect to be able to qualify their way into the show, but they were only 38th in practice because they did not get out in the packs. During practice, they stayed in single truck qualifying trim the entire practice session. That's why he was slow in practice, but it may benefit him in qualifying, and it does by over 2 seconds over Norm Benning. Goes to the 92 of Brian Keselowski, top of the board, goes to the 92. A 49.701, a great lap, but that is over 3 seconds slower from what he ran in practice. And he even ran by himself in practice, so the speeds are very slow right now here at Daytona. A 49.701, that is still good enough to get him in the that should be able to get him in the show based on what Norm Benning, Todd Peck, and Mike Harmon put up. And he'll pick it up about a hundredth of a second on lap 2, a 49.650 for the 92 of Brian Keselowski. The number 28 of Ryan Ellis, the NASCAR Spring Up Series Rookie of the Year contender in 2017. Doing triple duty this weekend at Daytona. He qualified for the Daytona 500 on Sunday afternoon on pole day. It was 11th in Xfinity practice this morning. Not that fast though here in Truck Series practice this morning, but at lap number 1 he runs a 54.66. That is right now second on the board for the 28 FDNY Racing Chevrolet of Ryan Ellis. Ryan Ellis driving for Rick Ware Racing in the Xfinity Series, BK Racing in the NASCAR Spring Up Series, and driving for the Jim Rosenblum FDNY Racing truck team here this weekend from Daytona. Ellis was 37th fastest in practice, and for what he ran on lap 1, this should be a pretty good second lap. It should be a good enough lap to get him in the show. Gonna have to see what these next couple of trucks do. After Ryan Ellis, we will have Austin Hill, Bobby Gerhart, Clay Greenfield, and Cody Ware onto the track as Ellis will complete his run at a 54.20. That should be good enough to get Ryan Ellis into tonight's Truck Series premiere from Daytona. On track now, the number 20 of Austin Hill in the Austin Hill Racing Ford now takes the white flag on his qualifying run, a 50.038. That is right now second on the board for Austin Hill. Now, there's no bumping yet with Austin Hill and bumping drivers out the field, but what Austin Hill could do is lock somebody into the show. Either him or Brian Keselowski will automatically clinch a spot in the night's race once Hill is done with this lap. Right now, he is a little bit far off from what Brian Keselowski ran, so it looks pretty good that the 92 truck will make the show, but you never know what can happen here at Daytona, and Austin Hill is going to try to give it everything he has here on this second lap. Coming out the final corner, Austin Hill was 32nd in practice, comes across the line, and Hill will be a 49.978 second for Austin Hill of the 6 trucks that have now taken time in qualifying. And that will lock the 92 of Brian Keselowski into the show for tonight's season premiere. Next driver to hit the track will be the number 36 of Bobby Gerhart. Talk about a guy who's had a pretty good speed week so far here from Daytona. Won his 9th ARCA race on Sunday afternoon, and then he qualified for his first career Daytona 500 on Thursday night in the Can-Am Duels from Daytona. Doing the quadruple duty during speed weeks. And lap number 1 was a 54.62 for Bobby Gerhart. That is only 4th on the board. This run could and most likely will lock Austin Hill in the show. Trying to get in front of the number 28 of Ryan Ellis. He's only not that far away, just a couple of tenths away, so he may be able to move up to 3rd. At the line for Bobby Gerhart, a 54.08. He does top Ellis. 3rd for Bobby Gerhart, but that will lock Austin Hill in the show for tonight's race from Daytona. Clay Greenfield out on track now, making his run here in qualifying. He'll take the white flag on his run at a 59.75. That is Clay Greenfield's first lap here from Daytona. And that is right now 5th quickest of the 8 cars, or 8 trucks have now taken time here in qualifying. Clay Greenfield jobbing for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing here. 1-800 pavement coming on board with the organization here from Daytona. Clay Greenfield was entered in the number 68 truck for his own team. Got the call to drive Jennifer Jo Cobb's truck, and now Greenfield trying to get Cobb's number 10 Chevrolet in the show. He is right now 5th on the board, and this lap could lock Bobby Gerhart in the show as Greenfield comes off the final corner to take the checker flag in his qualifying run. A 50.940 for Clay Greenfield. That is only 5th on the board for the number 10 of Clay Greenfield. Now on track, the number 07 of Cody Ware out of SS Greenlight Racing. Cody Ware will take the white flag on his qualifying run. 8 Gorga homers have completed a time here at Daytona just prior to Cody Ware. We have 8 more Gorga homers left to go, including Cody Ware, and Ware's time a 59.84 for Cody Ware, and that is right now 6th quickest out of the 9 trucks have now taken time. Clay Greenfield's run did lock Bobby Gerhart in the show, and this could lock the 28 of Ryan Ellis in should Cody Ware not pick up. Ware attempted to run the Daytona 500 with Hillman Racing, failed to qualify. Ware running full-time in the Xfinity Series with Rick Ware Racing. So he'll try to get his Xfinity car in the show right after this qualifying session is over for the Truck Series. Right now, Ware not far off from what Clay Greenfield ran. Can he pick it up here on lap 2? A 59.36 for Cody Ware. Is that enough to get inside the top 5? It is. 5th quickest for Cody Ware out of the 9 drivers that have taken time here in qualifying for the Truck Series at Daytona. Now on track, the number 44 of Tommy Joe Martins, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders for 2017, running full-time in his Martin Motorsports number 44 family-owned team. The 10th qualifier to go out to qualify here for the NEXTEra Energy Resources 250. Right now, 4 trucks have already qualified on time for the race. Brian Keselowski, right now the pole center. Austin Hill 2nd, Bobby Gerhart, and Ryan Ellis. Right now, the bottom 5 are Cody Ware, Clay Greenfield, Norm Benning, Mike Harmon, and Todd Peck. And we have 7 Gorga homers left to go, beginning here with Tommy Joe Martins, and a 53.28 on lap number 1. That is going to put Tommy Joe Martins in the show on his first lap. So now Martins can go out and try to get a great lap here on lap 2. Maybe try to get the pole away from Brian Keselowski, but he's a little bit too far off from that goal. But Tommy Joe Martins becomes the 5th Gorga homer to clinch a spot in tonight's event from Daytona as he completes lap number 2, a 50.265 for Tommy Joe Martins, 3rd on the board for the 44 truck. Next up on track to take the Daytona International Speedway is the number 50 of Mark Thompson, the Phoenix Air Chevrolet, joining Make Motorsports for the season opener here from Daytona. Mark Thompson, the ARCA veteran who got 3rd place in the ARCA race on Sunday afternoon, one of the many drivers who participated in that ARCA race, driving for Make Motorsports, and with that lap on lap 1, Mark Thompson, 3rd fastest in the 50 truck, and Mark Thompson will race tonight at Daytona. A really good first lap by the 50 of Mark Thompson. 66 years old, and he's still going strong here in the racing world. Thompson now third fastest after his first lap, and he may be able to go up to second, or at least try to challenge Austin Hill for second place on the grid right now. And now Thompson is the 11th driver to go out to qualify, the 11th going homer. We have 16 altogether. Beginning with the next truck, which is Jo Cobb, we are now going to be starting to see bumping in this qualifying session with the going homers, as Thompson completes his run with a 51.23. That is third fastest for Mark Thompson. As we forgot to mention, Mark Thompson is going to be making his first career start in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series here tonight at Daytona. Next up is the number 1 of Jo Cobb, and now bumping will begin. Jo Cobb or Todd Peck. One of them is going to miss the race here from Daytona in the next minute, as Cobb takes the white flag on her run. A 57.54 for Jo Cobb. That will bump Todd Peck out of the show for tonight's season premiere from Daytona. A 57.54. That is right now 7th overall, and Jo Cobb has actually locked herself into the field. Nice lap by Jo Cobb. She will race tonight from Daytona. She bumps Todd Peck out of the field, and that leaves the bottom 4. The bottom 4, which is Cody Ware, Clay Greenfield, Norm Benning, and Mike Harmon. And we have Grant Infinger left to go out. We have Chris Fontaine, Brandon Jones, and Austin Wayne Self. Cobb takes the checker flag on here qualifying run, a 57.08 for the driver out of the number 1 team. And she will be 7th on the board for Jo Cobb. Nice lap. The number 25, Grant Infinger, makes his way through turns 3 and 4 to complete lap number 1 in qualifying. On his qualifying run, Grant Infinger must qualify his way into the show, and he could be a threat for the pole if he was happy with his truck in practice. And lap number 1, a 49.395, a great lap for Grant Infinger. That is the quickest lap we have seen today in NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying. Grant Infinger will race or qualify his way into the show tonight, and that will bump Mike Harmon out of the field of 36 trucks. Grant Infinger running full-time in the Truck Series in 2017. Even though he is in his 30s, he is still a rookie here in the Truck Series. The former Series ARCA champion who competed in the ARCA race on Sunday afternoon. He got 37th in the race after a crash. We'll move over to the 24 GMS Racing truck beginning next weekend at Atlanta. This is a 5th truck out of GMS Racing. He completes his second lap, a 49.3300. A very nice lap for Grant Infinger. He is right now the quickest guy in town in the 25. When it comes to racing at the restrictor plate tracks, there's a name you always want to keep an eye on, and that's Chris Fontaine, driver of the number 78 Glennon Motorsports Toyota Tundra. Driving for a family-owned team, Chris Fontaine racing here, trying to qualify his way into the show. He'll be taking the white flag here in just a moment. We have 3 trucks left to qualify, at least of the Go homers are concerned. We have 16 Go homers, 13 have qualified, and we have 3 trucks remaining of the Go homers. Chris Fontaine, Brandon Jones, and Austin Wayne Self. And on his first lap, Chris Fontaine will make the show, a 53.19 for the 78. That is right now 6th overall for Chris Fontaine. But he's still looking for more. And he does have a little bit of room to maybe get himself inside the top 5. He's not far off from 4th place Mark Thompson. After Fontaine, we have Brandon Jones and Austin Wayne Self. By the way, this lap by Chris Fontaine will bump Norm Benning out the show. And it will be a battle between Clay Greenfield and Brandon Jones, and Cody Ware versus Austin Wayne Self in the next 2 runs. Greenfield and Ware right now are on the outside looking in, and at a 52.66 goes Chris Fontaine. he will pick it up, but he will remain 6th, 1/1000th slower than Bobby Garrett, or 1/1000th slower than Tommy Joe Martins, who's right now 5th on the board, 6th for Chris Fontaine. 8th fastest in practice was this number 71 Menards Chevrolet out of Carlos Contreras Rainier Racing, the number 71 of Brandon Jones. Had an eventful morning in the Xfinity practice. He was one of those 5 drivers who was unable to post a time in Xfinity practice this morning. But in truck practice, he was 8th overall, and on lap 1, he goes for a 49.751. That is right now 3rd quickest for Brandon Jones on his first lap, and that will bump Clay Greenfield out of the race. So it will be between Austin Wayne Self or Cody Ware for that final spot on the starting grid. 25 drivers came here knowing that they will compete in the race no matter what, and then we knew that 11 drivers from the show from qualifying their way in. And Brandon Jones, on his second lap, can he pick it up? Brandon Jones, a 49.691 for the number 71 truck, and he will remain 3rd quickest for Brandon Jones. All the attention around Daytona now goes to one driver, the driver of the number 22 AM Technical Solutions Toyota. The AM Racing sophomore driver Austin Wayne Self, the last going homer, left to go out to qualify here from Daytona. On lap 1, he puts down a 50.032. He will qualify his way into the show tonight, and that will bump the number 07 of Cody Ware out of the show from Daytona. And that lap by Austin Wayne Self is right now 5th quickest on his first lap. So Cody Ware came here trying to attempt 3 races: Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. He failed to qualify for the 500, and he has failed to qualify for the Truck Series race here from Daytona. Not the weekend Cody Ware was hoping for, but it is a pretty good start to the year by Austin Wayne Self. He qualifies for the first race of the year from Daytona. Drove for ThorSport Racing in 2016. After a dismal year, moved over to a family-owned team, AM Racing. And on lap number 2, he picks it up to a 49.969 for Austin Wayne Self, and he will jump up to 4th quickest on the board for the driver out of the number 22 AM Technical Solutions Toyota. Austin Wayne Self 4th from Daytona. So as Austin Wayne Self finishes his qualifying run and makes the show, that will end part 1 of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying here from Daytona. Self makes his way into pit lane. 16 going homers came here. 11 made the show. Cody Ware, Clay Greenfield, Norm Benning, Mike Harmon, and Todd Peck, the 5 drivers who are unfortunately going home early on here from the Truck Series race from Daytona. They do not make the season premiere race from the Daytona International Speedway. Now, part 2 will have the drivers who are already locked into the show, beginning with guys like Tyler Young, Parker Klugerman, Mike Bliss, Ryan Truex, and your defending Truck Series champion, Christopher Bell. We hope you enjoyed today's part 1 video of Truck Series qualifying. Now, all your homers, and now we know the 36 drivers who will race into tonight's event. But now the question is, who will start on the pole and who will fill in those slots on the starting grid? And we'll find out in part 2 of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying as it continues here from Daytona.